Hi there, crafty friends. Welcome and thank you for joining me. Today I thought we would make a very cute and simple card using Pretty Pink Posh's lovely ladybugs. So I contemplated even doing a video on this card just because it is pretty simple. But I just wanted to remind you, you can get really cute cards with even small little stamp sets. You don't have to have a great big stamp to make a great big background. You can use your smaller stamp sets along with the coordinating dies. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got my Misty here, and we are going to heat emboss our images. Let me just make sure that fits, and that's perfect. I've got 3 of my little ladybugs and then my little like flying stitched marks. We've got those in our Misty, and I'm not even going to use any powder because we're going to use clear. I am using VersaFine because this is a pigment ink, and we're just going to get those ladybugs inked up. And I will stamp this twice just so I can get good coverage on those stamps. Then we are going to bring in our clear embossing powder, and I will just make sure that I get those images covered without making too much mess. You know, embossing powder has a tendency to get everywhere. And we're keeping this card simple. You can make this card in no time at all. Just getting that covered. I love heat embossing with black. You get that raised image and everything just looks so pretty. So now we can go ahead and heat emboss that. Just make sure you get your gun nice and hot. And when you're able to look at those images in the light and see that everything is all shiny, you know you did a good job. So let's bring in our markers. I've got R29 for my red. I've got 100 for my black, and then I'm also bringing in some C7 for my gray. And I just want to add a little bit of shading to the inside of my ladybug. So I'll just put a little bit of black and then come in with my gray and just blend that out a little bit. And that's just going to give us a little bit of definition for her parts. Then I'll just color the other area all black. I'll come in with my red and do her shell, her body. And then I will continue her little antenna, black, and her head, black, and her little spots. This coloring goes so quickly. Perfect. And then I will go ahead and do my other 2 ladybugs just the same way. And that was so quick to color in. Those little ladybugs are done. Now we can go ahead and die cut those out. And I probably should, but I'm not going to. Tape down my dies. I think these are such small little images that it'll be okay. I also went ahead and I white heat embossed on black the larger sentiment, Bugs and Kisses. And this is so cute. I just kind of wanted to remind everybody, don't forget about those smaller stamp sets. You can do a lot with them. And these all came out perfect. These little ladybugs, they are so cute. And we've got our little flying trails here. So then we are also going to bring in our Spellbinders Fresh Picked Floral Frame, and I thought this was just beautiful. I love this embossing folder, and you can make a larger card with this folder. This is absolutely huge, but I cut my panel down to 4 by 5 1/4 so I can layer this on my card base. But first, we need to stamp on this image. So let's bring our Misty back in, and I've got my stamp all lined up, and we need to bring in some masking tape because we are using the You're My Love Bug, and I want it to be two-toned. So we're going to use a piece of masking tape, and we'll just tape off the love bug, and we'll do the You're My in black. Make sure you take that masking tape off after you stamp that. Make sure your panel is in that corner so it doesn't go anywhere. And we may need to do this twice. Yes. So we'll just put that masking tape back, ink that up again. And I am using my Honeybee Intense Black. I just want a nice dark image. And I think that looks good. Now we can tape off the You're My and only have Love Bug show. And here I am coming in with Candy Apple. I want that to be red. So let's get that inked up. Take that tape off and stamp. Oh, maybe one more time. And that's perfect. So now we can bring in our images and figure out how we want the rest laid out. I know I want my larger sentiment right about there. And then we're going to just put our ladybugs around. You know what? Let's do the larger one up here because we have a larger gap in that area. And we'll put our two smaller down here. And then everything is all framed. We've got our beautiful embossed image around our ladybugs, and we're using a smaller stamp set. That works out perfect. So I will just bring in some foam squares and we will pop up our sentiment and our ladybugs. I will bring in my T-ruler so I can make sure I get that sentiment nice and straight. That's good. Then we'll add our ladybugs. And then for my little flying trails, I am just going to add those with liquid glue. And I love that this one has a little heart. That is so cute. I'll just tuck that right under there. Hold that down for a minute. And this one is just a little bit too long, so I am going to trim that. And we can add that right underneath our other ladybug. And that card is done. This came together so quickly. I did add some Fashion Jet pearls in black. I added foam tape behind my embossed panel. And I just love that. Those flowers are so pretty back there behind those ladybugs. And I bet this card only took me 15 minutes. So don't forget to use those smaller stamp sets. You can get some really cute cards. Everything I used today will be listed and linked in the description below. Please go ahead and give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.